You ever feel like you're stuck on a hamster wheel with your money? The paycheck comes in, bills go out, and then, poof, it's gone. Even if you're making more money than you did last year. Well, today we're going to tear that apart and look at a whole new way of thinking about money, a framework that for some reason they just don't teach you in school.
And to really get our heads around the problem, we've got to start with a truly wild story. It's about one of the highest paid athletes in history who somehow, against all odds, lost everything. Just let that number sit there for a second. $300 million. I mean, that's not just rich. That's your great-great-grandkids are rich. Or at least it should have been.
But nope, when he filed for bankruptcy, this is how much he was in the hole. $30 million in debt. So the question that should be screaming in your head right now is, how on earth is that even possible?
Now, it's really tempting to just write this off as some crazy celebrity story, right? But it's not. Check out this stat. 1 out of every 10 people in America making 6 figures a year is also living paycheck to paycheck. This tells us something huge. This isn't really an income problem. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how money actually works. So that paradox, that disconnect, leads us to the single most important question we're going to tackle. If just getting a bigger paycheck isn't the magic bullet that solves everything, then what is? The answer, it turns out, is in completely changing how you see money in the first place.
Okay, so let's get into our first and maybe most important mindset shift. See, before you can ever get good at managing money, you have to completely rethink what it even is, going way beyond that simple definition we all learned as kids.
We're all taught to see money like this, right? It's just a tool you use to buy stuff. And yeah, on the surface, that's not wrong. But that simple definition is actually what keeps so many people trapped, because it's only half the story.
Here's a much more powerful way to see it. Money isn't the thing itself. It's just a stand-in for value. Think of it like a receipt. It's a little piece of paper that says, hey, I created this much value for someone else, and now I can go trade this receipt for value from someone else. That's all it is, an exchange of value.
And when you get this, it is so freeing. It completely changes the game. All of a sudden, money isn't good or evil anymore. It's just a neutral tool, like a hammer. And building wealth isn't about being greedy or getting lucky. It's about solving a simple puzzle. How can I create more value for more people?
All right, so now that we've got that money equals value idea locked in our brains, we can build a super simple but really powerful framework on top of it. This will change how you see your entire financial life.
For the rest of this explainer, I want you to try and forget the words income and expenses. Seriously. Instead, just think about these two forces, production and consumption. Production is all the value you create, your job, your side hustle that brings money in. Consumption is all the value you use up, your rent, your coffee, your car that sends money out. It's a constant tug of war.
So if we're looking at these two sides of the coin, production and consumption, where do you think the real problem is for most people? I mean, for Mike Tyson and for that 1 in 10 high earner who's broke at the end of the month.
The Mike Tyson story just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? Your production can be absolutely massive. We're talking hundreds of millions. But it literally means nothing if your consumption is even bigger. For almost all of us, the scale isn't tipped because of a lack of production. It's tipped because of out-of-control consumption.
And this isn't because people are bad or stupid. Our brains are actually wired to work against us here. We have these little glitches, these cognitive biases that make saving money really hard. Whether it's the ostrich effect, where you're scared to even look at your bank account, or our brain's love for instant gratification, our own psychology is often our worst financial enemy.
And this old saying, it perfectly captures that idea of social proof. We're social creatures, and we feel this deep, subconscious pressure to spend money just to keep up with what our friends are doing, what our neighbors are buying, or, let's be real, what we're seeing on Instagram.
But here is the good news. You absolutely can fight back against your own brain. And there's a proven 3-step playbook to get your consumption on a leash. It all starts with just awareness. No judgment, just tracking where every dollar is actually going. From there, you build a plan to take control, and then you build a safety net so life doesn't knock you off track.
Okay, so once your consumption is managed, once you've stopped the bleeding, now we can shift our focus to the really fun part, the other side of the equation, radically scaling up your production. Look, your 9-to-5 job is a fantastic foundation for production. It's a stable, reliable way to trade your time and skills for money.
But if you want to build real, life-changing wealth, you have to think bigger. You have to think about producing value at scale. And thanks to the internet, the opportunities to do that have never been more accessible.
Just think about these examples. A guy like Ben Francis creates a product for Gymshark once, and it can be sold to millions of people. A YouTuber like Graham Stephan films a video one time, and it provides value to a huge audience forever. A developer builds an app once, and it can be downloaded an infinite number of times. The common thread here is leverage. They're all creating value in a way that is no longer tied directly to the hours they put in.
So, let's bring this all home. Let's tie it all together into the final escape plan. But to do that, we have to do one last crucial reframing of a term we all think we know.
See, we've got it all wrong. The rat race has nothing to do with having a 9-to-5 job. Lots of people love their jobs. The real rat race is a prison that you build yourself, with your own spending. It's when your lifestyle costs so much that you have to keep running on that wheel just to keep the lights on.
This quote from Fight Club just nails it. When that car payment, that mortgage, those subscriptions eat up every single dollar you make, you're not free. You don't own those things. They own you.
So here it is. The whole escape plan boiled down to 2 simple steps. It's not complicated, but it takes discipline. Step 1, master your consumption. Force a gap between what you produce and what you consume. And then step 2, pour all your extra time and energy into scaling your production to make that gap as wide as humanly possible.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. It boils down to this one fundamental choice that will steer your entire financial life. The choice between looking rich and actually being rich. So, I'll just leave you with that to think about.